They sound honest.
Social Security's Office of the Inspector General says there are third-party firms that can help you obtain Social Security disability benefits.
For people who got a stimulus check in March based on their 2019 return, but were owed more after filing a 2020 return. And we finally have an answer for recipients of Veterans Affairs benefits who don't normally file taxes.
October 1st, 2022. So the Social Security Administration will send out the payments the Friday before. In September, this means SSI recipients will get paid on September 1st and September 3rd.
So $800 is on the way, everybody. You may be eligible to receive an inflation payment of $800. And now this is the latest information on the fourth stimulus check. Millions of taxpayers can expect to receive a big bonus tax rebate for their state and city. It's a lot of details being released, so I want you to continue watching this to not miss out on the most important stimulus news, because we have a ton of news to cover. So here is the news that eligible taxpayers can be eligible for a tax rebate of $800 in the bank accounts by the end of the year. The South Carolina Department of Revenue said that rebates will be issued and sent out to eligible taxpayers who file their tax return by October 17. And according to state officials, they have already begun issuing rebates, and eligible recipients will receive it by the end of the year. Those who chose to file their returns after the original October 17 extension deadline have until October 15 to also end October 15 and February 15, 2023 of next year to get the returns in order to be eligible for a rebate. Now, eligible taxpayers who file between October 18 and February 15 of next year will receive the checks in later this year. You receive your 2021 refund by direct deposit. The South Carolina Department of Revenue said it will use the same bank account to issue your rebate by direct deposit, unless you notified them of a change in banking information by November 1st. State officials have noted that you will receive less than your calculated rebate amount if you had an outstanding individual income tax bill. That debt could be from your 2021 return or previous years, if the balance you owed was less than your rebate. It will be subtracted from your rebate and you will be receiving the remaining amount. Also, 6 aldermen and Richmond, Virginia mayor have already agreed to a 5-cent rebate per $100 of assessed property for citizens. Currently, citizens pay around $1.20 per $100 of property, but with the new initiative, they would pay $1.15. So the mayor told reporters that this means residents with a home assessed at $350,000 and a real estate tax bill of $4,200 will receive a one-time rebate of $175. Now, they added that at this point, permanently cutting the tax rate would affect our ability to provide basic services to our residents, to our community. It also means we would not be able to pick up and keep up with the growing maintenance needs of our roads, parks, and libraries. And when asked why the city didn't offer a large rebate, considering that assessments had increased 13% this year, the managing director told the city council that tax rebates are to be funded from budget surpluses. And some council members had already called for an across-the-board reduction in the city's tax rate. Folks, the IRS is looking to hire as many as 700 people and to help out taxpayer assistance centers across the country, including some.
The Biden administration says it feels confident the Republicans will get on board with their proposed stimulus package. But the cost of the White House's $2 trillion plan is a non-starter for Republicans who prefer their $600 billion version. Democrats and the GOP are also at odds over the size of the direct relief payments.
Make $80,000 or less, you will qualify for the $1,400 check. If you and your spouse make less than $160,000, you'll qualify for $2,800. Dependents will also be getting checks this time around.
So guys, have you received your fourth stimulus check yet? Well, here's the reasons why you haven't received it. Several residents across the country have begun to receive stimulus checks to help better cope with the effects of inflation on prices of certain products and even services. The first checks, for instance, in direct deposits from $3 billion was actually sent to the people of Massachusetts. About 3 million people in the state will get one of these refunds. To qualify for a refund right now, you must have filed a 2021 state tax return on or before October 17th of this year. If you didn't do that, well, you're actually in big trouble, because anyone who has not done this but does it by next year will still be eligible for a refund. So these individuals receive their checks automatically. As for instance, everybody, individual eligibles are actually for a refund will receive it automatically as a check sent through the mail by direct deposit. Approximately 500,000 direct deposits and refunds were expected to be distributed and were scheduled to be distributed weekly thereafter until all eligible refunds have been sent out. California also began sending out payments between $200 and $1,000 in October, but they are continuing into January. And however, the state's franchise tax board expects 95% payments to arrive in residents' hands by December 31st. Colorado issued payments of $750 to single filers and $1,500 to joint filers. However, those who received an extension to file their tax returns may not receive the payments yet. Most Idaho stimulus payments have already been sent out, but for those who filed their taxes late, rebates will be processed throughout the 2022 year and into next year as well. Two stimulus payments are very important for the people that need it the most. But do you think that President Biden will give you a stimulus check? Well, the good news is that he is. Social Security payments are generally sent out to eligible recipients a once-a-month check. However, in certain cases, Social Security beneficiaries can receive more than one check per month. For some, this is a normal occurrence, but for others, it's going to be kind of weird. If you receive 2 Social Security checks in a single month, it's important to know why and to know if you should collect a payment sometime next year. It's because in any month where someone receives 2 stimulus checks of SSI, they won't receive any the following month. For example, in April, SSI beneficiaries received April 1st and April 29th checks, but didn't get any in May. Although the payment is usually one accelerated by a couple of days, it can be confusing for recipients who are not aware of this quirk in the system. SSI retirement benefits and SSI income payments are just 2 different benefits. You will never receive retirement benefit and your SSI payment on the same day. So, Americans could actually be facing the highest gas prices, so here's what President Biden is doing about this. Millions of Social Security recipients are set to get their monthly retirement checks worth up to $2,000 in only 5 days. According to the SSA, beneficiaries born from the 21st through the 31st of their birth month will receive checks next month on the 23rd. So if you're owed back payments on your Social Security record, you may end up receiving more than one payment per month. And this happens most often if you were recently approved for disability payments or the length of time between your established onset date is actually confirmed, and when you got your first payment also determines when you want to get the stimulus. Because we do know this, folks, the state of Minnesota has been collecting way more of our tax dollars than projected, and the state budget office estimated back in March the surplus is approaching $9 billion. This means that you'll be getting lots of stimulus money. Now, a Republican Senate proposal aims to restart the monthly payments to parents with fresh requirements. However, the proposal is called the Family Security Act 2.0 from Mitt Romney. The proposal follows the expiration of the child tax credit and give families access to monthly child tax credits for the first time and forever. So I hope that President Biden does more for the American people and send out stimulus payments because, let's be honest everybody, President Biden has to do this or it's game over.
Senators Durbin, Murray, Stabenow, and Senator Baldwin. Now, we had a great, happy, and spirited discussion in our caucus. Democrats are ready and eager and united to finish this Congress on a very strong note. We are excited for the future with a new and hopefully a little larger majority than we had in the last Congress. This Senate, the longest 50-50 Senate in history in Congress, plain and simple. It's been adapted already in red and blue states. Now one of the biggest manufacturers is doing it. So the time has come to get this done in Congress. While I hope other manufacturers follow suit, there's no substitute for locking this down as mandatory and permanent for all